So, welcome to the latest live stream in the series. So for the last 11 days now, I've been live streaming every day, and I'm kind of in an in-between period. So I've just been working a bit on the block mining simulation game, and giving people a chance to vote with their money if they want to do a super chat to request a specific type of content. So there's ideally I'd like to do all these different types of content, but some of the requests I've had for more of the cinematic shorts, I did do a little bit of work on one of these, but then I decided I'm gonna get prepared for my next hearing at the tenant board, and then I'll probably switch back to that stuff. But for now, I probably won't do any more of the long form stuff until after the next hearing, when I have a bit more certainty in what's going to happen next. But other than that, let's continue where we were yesterday, working on the block mining simulation game. So yesterday I actually did, I got quite a bit of progress. Galactic Pest says, "Hello, Robert. Another day for world domination." Yes, indeed. World domination waits for no one. I merged in the changes. From yesterday. So let's take a look at what we've got today. So last night I was experiencing some bugs with I was working on like an overlay layer for the help menu, or the kind of early beginnings of a feature for explaining over for like an overlay for selecting what you want to do to change one of the frames. So if I open this, oh yeah, I selected it to be off. Yeah, the idea is I'll probably make it so that instead of pressing escape to open this, you'll press escape and you'll get like a menu that opens with an overlay in the center. So that's what we'll work on today. Keendan says, "Hey Robert, how are you?" Pretty good. Just finished my daily exercises. Explain what I'm seeing now, please. So you're currently seeing the block mining simulation game. Let me just play it, open it up again. So it's in an infinite procedurally generated universe where you can run around and spam the M key to mine blocks. And in the last week or so, I've been working on some changes to improve the user interface. So it runs purely in the Linux terminal. So you run around, use the WASD keys to move around. You spam the M key, and you mine blocks. You mine blocks, and then the blocks show up in your inventory. And that's the entire game loop at this point. Discord gang is here, I guess. I don't know. There's only a handful of people who are active on the Discord. I'm not sure how big the Discord gang would be. Okay, so that's what that is. So I go into the help menu. So this was the overlay test that was that should make the menu thing, or the menu prototype, show up. So if I press escape, so yeah, you can see this this thing here. So I'm gonna. So it's just like my experimental feature for having an overlay. Now the thing is, now it goes away when I close that window. So I'm going to have to make some changes so that it can appear like globally. God King says, hope you are having a good day. It is a pretty good day. Can you place blocks? Yes, you can press the P key and it'll, oh, I'm not in the game, but if you press the P key, it places rocks, and that's the only type of block that you can place. Currently, there's part of the reason I'm doing this user interface improvement is so I can have a bit more flexibility over have an actual inventory area frame. You can like navigate around and select stuff. Right now, you cannot actually select items in your inventory. Where's the Discord link? I can't find it. So the Discord is not managed by me. It's managed by another person. Someone might have the link for it. The WSP villain. WSP. What does that stand for? What's something? I don't think I've seen that acronym before. What's up? Okay. Invisible Majority says, yo. Hey, Vic. Vic. I'm also not familiar with that particular greeting. Vic. That's not my name. Can this game run on my 486 IBM rig? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know what capabilities that has, but I mean, theoretically, the idea is it'll run. It should be fairly portable. It should be able to at least render on some pretty primitive displays. Let's do so what I did last stream was I moved a bunch of this frame stuff. Oh wow, we got a super chat already. Hey man, your videos about the current state of the world and programming market really resonated with me. Love what you're doing. Here's to world domination. Thank you very much. Nice. And then we're already at 2309. That's yeah, we've already exceeded yesterday's funds in the first 5 minutes. Keenan Salandi says that's a badass name. That is an interesting name. I'm looking at the third character in your name, like like EY. I don't think I've ever seen that character before. He's right. It is a pretty awesome name. Icelandic kroner. Looks like a swollen knee. Okay, let's. It's the thorn letter pronounced. Hard TH. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, does Icelandic have its own alphabet? Because I don't think I spent some time like learning the Hebrew alphabet and the Greek alphabet, like the Russian alphabet. I don't think that's a character in any of those alphabets. Have you thought about starting to stream earlier? Kind of late in Europe right now. Oh, I understand you might have personal obligations to prevent this from happening. I could. I kind of actually, to get my kind of late night aesthetic, I try to. I start streaming like as soon as the sun goes down. I have some of my few past streams. I've started to like while the sun's still up because I wanted to stream a bit longer. But well, I guess what I've been doing recently is like during the day I have like the whatever main distraction I'm focusing on that day, like some business stuff. Or today I actually did some work for the getting ready for the rent eviction hearing. So I do that during the day. Then I worked out. I didn't finish that until like 8 something, and then had a shower and then came right here. But I guess I don't know. It's hard to say because I guess if I go earlier, then it's also I'm gonna miss like the main like tech area of the world, like California, and that they would be up until about 3 a.m. my time. So I think this is maybe more ideal to catch more of the North American traffic, but I guess I could just stream more. I could stream 24 hours a day. I may stop in Iceland on my trip to Europe this summer. Iceland is a pretty cool country. It's all those volcanoes and stuff that you got there. It's never-ending excitement. Yes, 24-hour day stream, please. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, my business strategy is like whatever works and makes money, I'll keep doing more of it. And streaming is a kind of a decent low-effort way to generate revenue, but I mean, it's questionable. I'm getting away from my roots a little bit, but then again, it's also I think streaming actually, like streaming and social, being immersed in social media is kind of becoming a bigger deal. So I think it's even useful just to learn about the technology of it. So you can set up like an what's it called, like an RTP server or something, where so instead of like using a stream key that streams directly to YouTube, I would stream to like my own intermediary server, and then on that server I can like I could put like overlays. So if I want to do some kind of interactive thing, I could have like I could have like a text overlay that says like number of goals reached, or like I could do my live streaming in the woods series, and then I could have like a step counter or something, and then every time I take a step, it like increment something and just to have like an interactive element. I mean, it's questionable what that accomplishes though, but it's still like an interesting technical challenge because there's probably a lot of people that want to know about how to do that. After the world is dominated, will you move the tech capital or allow the old one to remain? I don't know. I was kind of thinking today maybe we should just give up on Western society and then relocate everything up to Axel Heiberg. We could just take over that place. If you saw my most recent video, long form video, I had a long day. I was up in Muskoka visiting grandparents. Just came back, stopped at the dog park with the pups. Honorable Bunny says, "Hey Rob, how's it going?" Going to have your stream on in the big while I'm programming today in the BG background. Iceland is the land of EVE Online and lava. Yeah, that was almost a year ago. They had that random like fissure just opened out of nowhere. That was pretty awesome. I saw the videos of where there was some surveillance footage of like just in the middle of the night the crack opens up and like lava starts shooting out. Although it's kind of, I guess, stressful if you live close to one of those fault lines. For things I want to work on, I put a grain of rice in a cup, which represents my daily goal. You're a big inspiration. You're quite a journeyman already with the skills I want to achieve. Oh, thank you for the kind words. For me, it's where Bjork is from. Some really cool history. Rob, did you grow up in NB? I heard you mentioning last stream. Yeah, that's where I'm from originally, New Brunswick. This year, last year, year before that. Oh yeah, I guess it never ends. And there was some. I think the famous hot springs they have there. There's like an eruption there or something, or there started like there was like a dangerous geyser or something that sprung up, and they had to close it down. The Reykjanes Peninsula has become active and will continuously erupt for the next 20 years or so, 200 years or so. And there's that interesting place where you can there's like a river where it's basically the fault line, and you can like literally swim down into the fault. Volcanic system is a long crack under the ocean. The Blue Lagoon is almost on top of it. Interesting. All right, let's take a look at let's see. So the next thing that I need to think about I had a thought today. That was when my screen printing code is getting complicated. So before I forget this, I need to say that if for buffering started. So if we're printing on something on the overlay, my friend wants to travel out east to the Maritimes since we went to Montreal for the eclipse last year. Do you have any spots to recommend visiting? That's a good question, I guess. Travel out east to the Maritimes. You know, I honestly haven't traveled too much around. Like, we'd go to like beaches and like a beach sometimes. Like on PEI, the beaches are nice in PEI in the summer. PEI is, I think, kind of bleak in the winter though. I don't know, because it depends what you're interested in. The landscape, for the most part, I think is kind of boring. It's one of the more boring areas. I know Newfoundland is, if you want like kind of interesting places, like interesting landscapes, Newfoundland is quite rocky, and you can, like the northern areas of it are like way more extremely sparsely populated. And I've heard it's like rocky up there. I've never been there myself. Yeah, you could, if you like bridges, you can cross the Confederation Bridge from, I think it's from New Brunswick to PEI, or Nova Scotia, around there somewhere. And yeah, it's at its point, at the time it was constructed, it was like some record holder, longest. I think it was one of the longest bridges in the world or something, or longest spanning bridge or something. Have you ever tried programming a simple 3D game engine for fun? Not really. I think I've maybe done some like really basic 3D graphic stuff. In university, I had the chance to enroll in a graphics course, and I could have done graphics or operating systems, and I chose operating systems. So yeah, I'd say that the 3D graphics programming is not it's not my strong point, just due to lack of experience. I particularly enjoy historic areas. Absolutely loved Old Montreal. One like this is kind of random, but it depends what you're interested in. Oh well, there's lightning hit. There's in Nova Scotia. Oh, hear the thunder. Yeah, in Nova Scotia, there's a museum for the first like telegraph system. And I was thinking if I ever did like, I don't know, traveling vlogs or something related to technology, I might think. I think it's in Casno. Anyway, it's on like if you look at Nova Scotia and like the most extraneous, like the most extreme point on, or one of the most extreme points, that is where the very first like telegraph cables, transatlantic telegraph cables, that's the point where they actually terminated on the North American continent. I think there's a museum there with a bunch of like stuff about like telegraph systems and stuff, and I think they have some information about like the iterations and stuff. That's kind of a random thing, but if you're interested in electrical engineering, that could be an interesting place to go. I've never been there. Historic stuff. I guess it depends what specific kind of historic stuff. Like there's definitely lots of random histories and mini museums and stuff. 13-kilometer long bridge. Yep, it's pretty long. Okay, let's make sure that didn't break everything. Okay, there's our user interface feature. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll probably So I think what I'll do is that so I have a function in the so this function this is what's drawing those x's. So I guess what I'll do is that'll get moved into here. So it's not any specific frame that's printing that. How to make a CPU part 2. I was actually thinking about I have a very specific video idea, but it's just I have too many ideas and not enough execution. It's possible I could do a follow-up to it summer maybe, but we'll see. I think I've heard of that. I believe it's called Signal Hill. absolutely have to see that. Have you been to St. John? St. John at the Bay there. Yes, St. John is. I visited St. John. Actually, there's an area. I guess I don't know how to describe it, but there is an area that's kind of like a bit down. It's like the older part of St. John. It is like if you like nice restaurants and stuff like that. I'd say it actually is kind of like a nice. I don't know if you've ever been to. I don't know, because I don't know what part of Canada you're from, but if you've been to Vancouver, and there's like in Vancouver there's a really nice street where there's just like lots of restaurants on it, and it's really like chill atmosphere. It was that way. I don't know. That was in like 2016. It's probably all like, everything went bankrupt now, but there is an area. It's kind of like the older part of St. John, where there's like a lot of the really kind of old architecture, and there's a lot of like kind of like just small, cute little restaurants that have decent food, and everything's it's not like insanely expensive. It's not incredibly crowded. It looks like it would just be like a nice place to have an apartment and live. And I think in the wintertime, it's like kind of a brutal place to live. But in the summer, it'll be a nice place to just work and go down and relax. And same, so many ideas. Need to clone myself. I think I saw a thing the other day of like there's some researcher in China who's working on human cloning, so maybe it'll be. I need to figure out how to turn the volume of that down, so it's like I don't. It's like the lowest setting before mute. I don't want to turn it down more. It'll break my. I won't hear phone calls. I'm from GTA, born up in Muskoka. Moved to Richmond Hill when I was young. Been to Alberta, never to BC. Yeah, if I turn it down even one setting, it goes to like mute mode. There's probably some way to make it more palatable, but I guess there's probably going to be some setting for just like turning off the notification, but I just haven't got around to checking it. Are you satisfied with how the algorithm has been promoting your newer videos? I guess it's kind of out of your control. I don't know. I think I think what Google's trying to do is trying to like also adjust to whatever your video production rate is. So if you output it at a regular rate, then it kind of adjusts the distribution on the video to that rate. Some of the views are a bit lower than the last couple ones, but I mean the last video is not really that interesting. The appeal is not necessarily how wide the video goes. I think is also a big part of it. It's a function of how broad the appeal is. So if it just is relevant to lots of people, then it'll get seen by lots of people. And then there's other trends like around Christmas, just views are larger, and we're getting into the summer months where views are going to drop. Because I'm not sure. Probably around now is probably one of the low periods, and then probably when I don't know. Probably when kids get off school, there'll probably be a surge again. It's that time again. Time for another live stream. Thinking about what's the best way to pass in this, because that comes in. I could just pass it in here, but over here I need to get the terminal frame dimensions. Oh, that's not what I want. Searching strings from visual mode. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but I just find it easier. It's like writing the code and looking at it, it's easier in the terminal, but I just I've been tabbing over to this thing. I just lagged. There we go, it finally figured it out. It's easier to like just to navigate the errors and stuff. Videos are super cool. Live streams are meh. I check in, thumbs up every day, but programming is unfollowable and boring. Shortly you know. You have taste. Yeah, the live streams are mostly it's kind of just like a practical like the videos in terms of making a video. Consideration I have is that I can put all this work. I have the opportunity to edit, so I can make it. Like every extra like minute or hour I put into making the video better makes it that much more watchable. So, and if millions of people watch it, the value exchange is very high. For live streaming, it's mostly like a practical thing because it actually does generate a little bit of revenue. So it's kind of like topping up the ad revenue. So it's kind of it's mostly just like it's a deliberately lazy thing I can do for the next few days because I have to my next eviction hearing is 26th, so I've got to prepare a bit, and I would like to do a long form video, but I don't want to get like halfway through it and then get interrupted. So honestly, I'm kind of amazed that there's 16 people here at all who are willing to watch it. I know for the last little while, I've been checking the live streams, and I lose subscribers every single time I do a live stream. It's only like 4 or something. But yesterday, I actually gained one, so I don't know. Maybe I'm sure there probably is a small niche audience for it. I could do like I could do what everyone else does and like play video games or something. But I'll probably keep it boring because it's or I don't know. Maybe I may change it up with. We'll see. I'll eventually, once I figure out the pattern, I could kind of upgrade to more interesting things, but it all requires time and resources, and then again, I got a huge backlog of other videos to do. And cool. I'm about halfway through VimTutor. Neat. I've never used VimTutor personally. Some dude, JV Schultz or something, seems like he got big by filming himself studying for long sessions. Yeah, there are a few like these like study with me sessions, live streams that people do, and I don't know. I guess it makes like that. It makes sense to do that in person. So I guess it does kind of make sense that someone would want to do that over a live stream. Although it's kind of a sad statement about the world. You look like a cool dude, bro. You still think you're a loser? If you read the pinned comment in my other video, I technically never thought I was a loser, but I think it's a catchy title, but also it's if you think about, if you ask someone to define what a loser is, they probably say it's like someone middle-aged who has no money and all their stuff isn't working. So in a qualitative sense, you could maybe say yes, but in my mind, no. Vim Tutor is just text file that walks you through ins and outs of Vim by editing the text file itself. Okay. Yeah, I've known Vim for a while now, so I haven't needed it. Okay, that compiles. Yeah, the live streams are boring, but in a way, it's also I think it's a good filter because it'll like that way people who really don't like, if someone's kind of like meh, I don't really care about this, they just won't watch it and they probably won't bother unsubscribing. But if someone like really hates programming, then they'll unsubscribe, which is probably a good thing. All right, now we got our menu, or the beginnings of a menu. Nice to know. I think I'm a loser myself, but at least I make jewelry, I know how to play guitar. By the way, don't have a clue about what you're doing, because I don't know anything about code, but I wish you very good fortune. Well, and honestly, I think the real losers, or like the people who should feel bad about themselves, are not. There's tons of people out there who are like, not only are they not contributing to the economy, but they're like working against it. People who are got involved in criminal activity and people stealing money from the government, and there's a lot of that going on. So honestly, like if even if you just like don't contribute anything and you don't like steal from society, Jake Paul is a loser. Yeah, people. I don't know. I mean, he's one of those people that's unfortunately successful. Like technically, the stuff he makes from his energy drink, you could say that's like, there's actual commerce there. It's questionable if it's good for society, but like getting rich off crypto scams and stuff, it's not that doesn't add much to society. But at least if you make jewelry, that's like, or even if you just didn't make jewelry, and as long as you obey the law, don't steal money from people, you're still quite far ahead. Let's see, what was I doing? Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you just think about like how much the world would be better if like all the people who are like a negative drain on society just weren't draining it, and then we still had like the same number of people that just drop out and play video games and stuff, the GDP would be so much higher. So much of our effort just goes into like people that steal money from like all the nonsense going on in our government up here. it doesn't even register anymore. The government's just like, oh, we're funding $100 million in this thing. And then they're like, oh, money's gone. Oh, well. Unfortunately, people who dedicated their lives to making others miserable seem to be doing very well for themselves. Just look at WEF. Yeah, it's I mean, there's a few winners. It's almost even worse than that, because there's also a ton of people that like see that and then they become cynical and they're like, oh, I'll just steal money. I'll just do a crypto scam, and so they like, then they see that the only way to get ahead is to steal and scam. That video, 37-year-old broke loser video, that a lot of that is a good example of that. Like I said, I pointed this out in the later video, that like a lot of those people who, you know, screwed me over or like didn't know how to run their business, it caused me to lose out a lot. But it's not like they won themselves, because a lot of those businesses just failed. So there's tons of people who are like they're trying to screw people over, and they're not even good at it, and they just end up like wasting everyone's money and time. So for every like corrupt politician there is trying to like scam things, there's a few more that are trying to, and then they're not even like able to like steal the money. They just end up like wasting it on something. Pixel checksum. So FFF says, sup? How's it going? Thoughts on Canadian job market? I'm not sure. So I haven't been looking. I have not actively looked for employment for many years, for like a decade. But everything I'm hearing is that it's not great. I do hear a lot of people coming in saying they're having, and into the chat saying they're having a difficult time. But I don't know. That could also be selection bias. If people, the people who have an easy time finding employment don't come into live stream chats to talk about it. A lot of opportunities in tech. A lot of times, entrepreneurs operate a lot more like scam artists. A lot of opportunities in tech, yeah. Yeah, and it's like I said, it kind of perpetuates itself. Like a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh, I know, I learned a lesson. You just have to like say you're going to solve climate change, and then don't, and then raise money on that. But then they just end up wasting a bunch of money and time. Almost lost $2,000. Sam Bankman-Fried filed an FTX scam. Now he's in jail. My Ledger Nano saved my meager savings at the time. My Ledger Nano saved my meager savings. What do you mean by that? I never actually used FTX. I followed that whole implosion. I thought that was pretty incredible because I remember hearing about them and someone saying that they're supposed to be like an FDIC insured thing. So I'm like, oh, if it's FDIC insured, then maybe crypto is actually going mainstream. And then it turned out that they were not FDIC insured. It was just like, I don't know, someone they were working with was. 10 years ago, to get my foot into the door in IT, no degree, I had to apply to like 50 jobs to get one. My buddy with a degree applied for like 500 last year in the US. Yeah, it's I definitely do see like a lot of. I mean, there used to be more videos about how tech is amazing and go into tech, but there's a lot more people now posting videos saying that, it sucks. Yeah, and I guess on a couple of the subreddits that I look at, I think it is just worse. Ledger cold wallet. I took my crypto from FTX and put it into the Ledger wallet. Okay. Day in the life, tech jobs videos have basically vanished. Yeah, that's to me that's a pretty big indication of what's actually happening. Let's see. Mr. NJ Made says, "What's up, guys? Not too much. Just working on the block mining simulation game." Can I route in nim DLL, which can send keystrokes to non-active WND, non-active window. I'm not sure. Right? Do you mean by nim? Do you mean Vim? And WND you mean window? I hope you have a better final name for your project than block binding simulation game. I don't know. That's kind of growing on me. I like the name. It's nice and tells you what it is. Hey bro, tell us a song you like a lot. I don't know. It depends what I'm listening to at that moment. Handle on Windows. Okay. You're trying to write like a keylogger or something, and there's tons of information on there on that. Nim is a lang. Okay, I'm not familiar with it. The mines would be funny. Yeah, we'll see. I need to get it. It needs to be like better and more comprehensible first, and more functional. You should be able to write basically any program in any language as long as you have a way to access the API. So whatever kind of kernel APIs or operating system interfaces that exist. MS says, "Good evening, sir. How's it going?" When you know how things are structured, you can hop on almost every language besides assembly. Yeah, a lot of the limitations, mostly of a lot of languages, are like the limitations on what you can do are going to be based on what kind of APIs it has with the operating system. This reminds me a lot of some Japanese Java game development streams I used to watch. The guy also used a terminal, but on Windows, and something significantly older. Made applets. Well, that's good if I remind you of something Japanese. Yeah, for whatever reason, Japanese content and culture is big with programmers. Batches and batch files. I'm not really the right one to ask about Windows programming. Leaving now. Need to practice some stuff. Good luck. Thanks. Speaking of Japanese, can you explain your Miku figure? I found it disconcerting. Why do you find it disconcerting? Number two options, possibly a mixture of the two. You bought it for yourself, or you bought it to display in videos to get more views. I can understand the latter, not the former. It's basically just to get more views. Those things are expensive. I don't know. It depends. Like I kind of suspected if I put that in there, people would just like it and comment about it. And there was like several comments about it, and I think the top voted comment on that video was about the figure. And it's actually really surprising how expensive those are, because they're just like plastic. Like if you go to a like toy store or something, like for just a small doll or something, it's a few bucks. But for the amount of plastic in that Miku doll, I looked online at some of those like anime shops and stuff, and they get like crazy expensive, and they're all like limited edition and stuff. I don't even know what Miku figures are. You will get a girlfriend to boost views. Yeah, that would also boost views. It did its job then. I know how expensive those things are. I see them whenever I go to Little Tokyo in LA. Yeah, it's also I think for marketing, like things you can do that are like on the boundary of like where it's like controversial enough that people will like complain about it, but there's really nothing. It's like a nothing burger. From Germany, we don't have those stuff a lot. Well, actually, I had to buy it. When I bought it, I had to buy it from Japan. I bought it. It was actually used. When testing stuff that connects to DB, do you think mocking is potentially pointless? When testing stuff that connects to DB, it depends what you're testing, really. I guess like depends on how your mocking works and how good it is. I just find a man in his 30s with an anime figure idol very odd and mildly inappropriate. But yes, yeah, that's kind of like that's kind of like the point to it. Like a 30-year-old man with who's spends his money on Hatsune Miku figures. It's like it's just controversial enough to make people angry, but then if you say like, why is this a bad thing? People can't explain it. But I don't watch any anime, so but I may get some like, we'll see. It's a it's a business experiment. If it gets more views, then I'll do more stuff similar to it. I like functions overloading and mangle. Yeah, there's lots of ways to do testing. Whatever's the most good enough for whatever does the job, really. For unit testing, using JSON to return what the DB would instead of actually querying. What project is this? Is this an operating system? This thing I'm coding right here is a terminal-based block mining simulation game. It's this thing here. It's a terminal-based game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. Can you code review my GitHub project? Not right now. I can explain it, but only in the context that isn't a base expense. I like your video, so I give you the benefit of the doubt. I like your stream, even though I watch for a few minutes. Thanks. No people lamenting their fate in chat today. Yeah, there's I think the other night there were some people who were, I don't know, pretty down on life. I guess that's why I've seen a lot of people have one of the rules is no trauma dumping. Now I understand why people have that. Vim or VS Code? For me, it's Vim, for sure. I'm having a great time in life. That's good. And the fact that you're here, that's I do always get concerned about like, what type of person am I attracting to these streams or videos? Because there's some weird people out there. But if people who are in their right mind and doing well in life, that's good. I want more of those people. Group anonymous internet complaining sessions just tend to dig people into their problems much deeper. Yeah, I mean, people are really good at solving their problems. Well, they'll ask for advice once and then take it and fix things, but some people just never quite get it and then keep going on and on. Life is awesome when you don't get a bad spawn. That's true. My Java when Rust is best programming language. I'm not saying Rust is best programming language, but it is. Honestly, the more times people recommend Rust, the less I like it. Have you ever tried Godot or Unity for making games? My terminal based? I've never tried either of them. Technically, I would say I'm not even really a game developer, but terminal is makes sense because it matches my existing audience, yeah, it's this user interface is also simpler. I think we tracked people in a bad way. Streams like this may be different because it's just programming. Definitely found your most popular video because it was negative. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I don't know. It could have been worse. There were definitely some people kind of positive about it, and still videos like immigration video. Don't take that tone. Yeah, I think if if I published lots of videos about like everything's negative, everything's going bad, like if I just kept making like after I made that video, a bunch of people asked me like, hey, you should just make this exact same video over and over again. And I think if I did that, then I probably would attract a lot of people who really are losers. Rust is good. I guess so. Whatever you say. All languages are Turing complete, so it doesn't matter. That's true. As long as you can access the API in that language. Blodge says, hello again. How's it going? You just get large audiences from shared frustration or camaraderie. Yeah, I think I deliberately made the title of the video and the thumbnail and stuff. I thought about like because I needed to make money, so and also I think a lot of people needed to hear some of that stuff. Like if you want to do what I did, it's very valuable to hear those anecdotes and stories. So it's a negative thing I was presenting in the video, but I think it was it came across pretty well. Drama and controversy gets clicks. That's true. And that's what's matter on YouTube. I didn't do software professionally as my only source of income, so I'm somewhat immune to the mess already plaguing the industry at the moment. That's good. It is a moral imperative to write in Rust. What is it that people like about Rust so much? I've looked into it a few times, but like the borrow checking, I don't know. It seems like a minor feature that it really should be implemented as like an add-on, and it could be added like to other languages. I've heard some people say that they tried Rust for a long time, and the syntax just seemed overly complicated for little gain. Rust is just a stricter C++, and fanatics actually give it a worse rap. It should be treated as C++ is treated. Yeah, some of the super fans of Rust are one of the things that actually make me think I should probably not bother with it. And I think if I recall correctly, it started as like a Mozilla project, and then when Mozilla started doing bad financially, they kind of pulled the plug on some of the funding, which makes me think it's probably the momentum is going to slow it down on it. Rewrite the whole world in Rust. Zero cost abstraction and fearless concurrency. I don't know. I think for there's some advantages of it. I think all the effort that was put into writing a new language should have been put into making like a better way of specifying like interface requirements in C and C++, and also one thing that I think it's really underappreciated is figuring out how to like annotate interfaces across linker boundaries, so you can like the compiler can do link time optimization just as much as compile time. That's a really underappreciated thing, I think. It's a moral imperative to write in Rust. IDK, I don't code. That's good. You don't have to wade into this Rust argument. A Rust code a day keeps a web dev away. Sure. If you use Rust, you should be willing to interact with large amounts of Asperger's. Not joking when I say it, and looking at its user base. With that outlook, it's important to understand them. It takes one to know one thing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, that's not a. To anyone who's worked in tech for a while, everyone knows that's not exactly a surprise. Something that I've thought is like. What would actually be more interesting to me is like, are there examples of like extremely prominent programmers who like, if you sent them to a so-called psychologist who would like diagnose them as like 0%, they're like completely off of the spectrum, but they're also like a high productivity programmer? Like, are there examples of that? The normies are middle management. You need a solid understanding of autism to understand the tech industry. Yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt. Now we'll just do what I want. I'm a minus 10x programmer. I make everyone's life harder. That's not very nice. Autism spectrum disorder representation in systems languages also explains the high areas of transgenderism as Rust. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's not exactly that's not exactly one of those topics I want to veer into, but there's definitely the representation of LGBT in STEM is I'm pretty sure like higher than the general population, which is interesting. Don't know what's going on there. I still won't rewrite my program in Rust. Yeah, I mean, honestly, what people do in their spare time is doesn't matter too much as long as they write good software. JavaScript is the second alternative to Rust. JavaScript is pretty good. I guess back when I wrote a lot more JavaScript, it was one of my preferred languages. Oh wow, that's broken. Huh. Interesting. Wonder how to world when all new programmers just use AI. Yeah, good question, but I feel like that the philosophy of that has been debated to death. Programming's more fun when it's in your spare time, not your job. Learned that the hard way. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, a lot of programming on the job is like not even programming. It's like writing documentation and like working around, the build system and internal deployment policies and testing and meetings. I'm waiting for a language that can spit out thousands of DLLs and dynamically load them so I can live my WASM dream. I tried programming in the latest JavaScript framework earlier, but LLM doesn't have data on it, so I gave up. I'm an SRE. Half my job is coordinating between teams. Yeah, the like communication overhead and stuff. Like, find out, especially on big projects, you might even only write like a few lines of code, spend like weeks talking about it and meeting people and trying to figure out stuff about the system. I've been working on a language that targets WASM directly. It's been fun. It's more fun than targeting native assembly since it's higher level. Yeah, I did a project years ago, like one of my own personal projects, where I was like, I'll invent this like assembly language for the web. I think it was like a year before WASM was even invented. Needless to say, I never really finished that project. Want to make a game in JAI, but don't find the time. That's not what it's supposed to do. Oh, you know what? I'm not actually calling that. Three weeks figuring out what the client actually said. Was ask. What the client actually said was the ask. Rust compiles to WASM, pretty good. I write in some Vulkan-like framework that compiles to browser, web GPU, the rest of window management with Rust. wint also compiles to WASM perfectly. Interesting. I haven't actually used WASM too much. I think I remember like years ago some milestone where it was someone compiled a game like Unreal Engine or something to WASM, and I was thinking like, wow, the future is here. So this is going to be everywhere soon. But I'm not even aware of many web pages that use it, like a real production demos. Bin Aryan WASM split isn't there yet with Rust. I might have added bin Aryan in that sentence unnecessarily. I don't even know what that is. Code splitting isn't suitable for web apps unless it's monolithic. Yeah, I have no experience in this. I learned to find it acceptable distributing a 6 megabyte WASM file. Web pages are getting huge. I remember back on dial-up, stuff would take like, it was 6 minutes per megabyte. So for 6 megabytes, it would be would take 36 minutes to load over dial-up. But now your phone can handle this pretty easily. It's impressive. I've been closely following Lebto's progress on code splitting and listening to a talk that they discussed it. It's exciting. Interesting. I don't know what Leptos is. See, my menu toggling is still not working. Also, the alignment is not working. Hi brother, what are you creating? I am working on a terminal-based block mining simulation game. So it looks like this. It's a game you play in the Linux terminal. So you wander around an infinite procedurally generated universe and you spam the M key to mine blocks. That's a lot of messages about WebAssembly. I'm missing a bunch of them. I'll skip those. JS is the future now. Just have to accept it. I just hate for something in WASM to save us eventually. You ever try adding hot reload to your workflow? Not sure how well that's supported on the JVM these days. Yeah, one of the things on my to-do list is to get this. So I have the build rule set up here, but I don't know what I'd like it. One of the things I wanted with the IDE is to get it to auto I don't know, compile in the background and just immediately come up with the warnings, so I don't have to waste time compiling. If you break up your logic into plugin-like classes, you could compile the class file and load the class or jar at runtime. I did that for a Shuffle plugin system back in the day. Yeah, well, for development, I would prefer to not have to, there should be a way to just, I don't know, have it, detecting changes and have some kind of incremental compile thing. As soon as a class changes, go and compile it in the background. And the greatest things about JVM is all the runtime facilities you have access to. So solutions for that exist. Many have varying levels of quality. Interesting. Oh, it crashed. Index out of bounds. But where though? Console writer thread state 231. Oh, that's probably because I just changed this. Oh, that's probably this, actually. Yeah, Java's, even though I've been programming with Java for a while now, there's quite a bit to it, like some of the reflexive stuff, and there we go. This is, that's basically what I was looking for. Now if I press escape, it doesn't go away, but it's supposed to. $365 views, one view for every day of the year. So it should be, if the menu is not active, so when we press escape, that should turn menu active to be false. And it should come in here and reset this. And the key is that should be turned off. So it should stop printing that. And then it should let it go back to the whatever layer was behind it. Oh my gosh, lots of logic. Yep, it's a spaghetti code. So we're doing prepare terminal text change. This looks crazy, but if I had a bigger monitor, it's not so bad. Okay, actually, you know, I guess what I need what version of Java? 17. I tried upgrading it to 21, but I have a whole bunch of this escape errors. What do you think of Java not requiring PSVM for Hello World programs? Not requiring PSVM. I'm not even familiar with what that is. Public static void main. Basically, it would be like Python hello world. I guess, but what do you use? What do you use as an alternative then? let's go. I got some Cobalt punch cards. Compiler does some magic, secretly adds anonymous class main method. So I guess if for a simple hello world program, what would you call it? How does it know what to call first? Is this a fun project or for a job? This project is my business venture. How often do you upgrade your gear? Recently I noticed there is less and less need to upgrade, but everybody still tries to sell you the latest shiniest thing. I find it's always like it's out of necessity, like the phone gets too old, or there's like some kind of, it gets incredibly slow, or or your fans start failing, and let's see. Cannot find symbol. What symbol? There's no underline. Finds that. What's it talking about? Project errors. Am I losing my mind? What's going on? Ruby on Rails. What about Ruby on Rails? That's what I was going to ask. The guy who made Ruby on Rails has quite a personality. Not in a good way. Yeah, I saw a talk by him, and he seemed interesting. Like Temple OS Terry. I don't think he's like a Temple OS guy. He didn't seem that bad. Day 2 of asking Robert if he's heard of a calzone. I heard of it yesterday. Interesting. Why is this complaining? 'Cause it shouldn't complain because the other one compiled and ran it. There we go. Yeah. And so it ran it. That's what I thought. Must be some caching bug that made it not run before. So I've got an index out of bounds error. At 461. Let's look at that. $546. I guess that makes sense. Terminal terminal width, terminal height. Never ever call in calzone an inside-out pizza. It summons bad luck. I will make sure to remember this. Okay. This is showing something. But there is no... Oh, you know what? I might have just inverted the logic on that. If not, menu active. That's not what I expected. If not, menu active. Starts is true. That's why. Could that be the problem? Let's see. In Canada, how many people on average does it take to change a light bulb? I would imagine approximately 1 on average. You should explain code to the chat while coding, or see your reasoning. It will never make it easier for chat to help. Also, there's a chance you will also catch your mistakes easier. I guess I am kind of doing that. I'm trying to do that. But a lot of times I just get way too involved. So right now I don't see the menu. But I'm supposed to see the menu. Or the menu thing I'm building. That square overlay. And it doesn't make sense that it's not there. Okay, and I commented that out. So why is it not present? Because it was a minute ago. Has changed true. It was exhibiting that behavior a minute ago. Menu active is true. Change this terminal width equals terminal width, get terminal height, and value terminal. Oh, there's a bug. Oh, that might possibly explain it, because X and Y are kind of disproportionate. Let's do this. Let's see if that just fixes everything. There are no mistakes. Yep. I do not make mistakes. Every action is a deliberate testing of the state space. Wow. Oh, it only works once. So I can do escape, turn it off, and then it stays on forever. Oh, maybe it'll, there we go. So now, and there we go. And so if I do escape, now the menu's on. Now I do escape, and now it's like it's off, but I guess it doesn't. Oh, you know what? I bet that's because it's because I haven't actually like implemented. Let me think. You know what? I actually, you know what I should probably do something. It's probably because the map area, it's probably, this is like correct, but the map doesn't update its background. So everything is, in order to get it to not lag and be smooth, I have to be smart about print as few things as possible. Now for the map area, there might be just nothing printed in those areas that it thinks it has to print. So the next thing I will do, maybe I'll go into the map area interface. So this really should be black background color, which is like a standard. There's a standard ANSI escape sequence to specifically specify black, because I've been relying on my default black background, but I kind of don't like the black background in Ubuntu because it's actually not very black. But this will tell me the difference between areas on the screen that are like default, not updated, and not. Only happy little accidents. Yeah, that's one of those things I need to. Okay, so it's on there, but I should really get you so that this color is black according to the like ANSI standard escape sequence. And I really should start using this. It's on the to-do list to start using that color. But it looks too gray. But I can't do anything about it because it's standard. Can you give an overview of how menu is supposed to be drawn? Right now, the menu is just supposed to be it's supposed to be just a square with of these X's. So that's correct. But what I want to do is I want to press escape, and then there's a help menu, and then I press escape, and then there's no help menu, and then I press escape, and then that's comes back just to initially build this thing. So what it should be doing, so now it's there. So let me think. So the next thing I should do this will probably work. This will be inefficient, but yeah, let's just do this. So that'll basically, when I turn off the menu, it'll print the entire screen. But we'll see if this works. So that'll just mean it's like less efficient when I'm turning off the menu, but that's it doesn't have to be fast in that case. Okay, so we got our help menu. Help menu off. Nice. Amazing. Help menu on. Nice. Amazing. I'm the world's best programmer. Coolio. My guess is that a light bulb affects or changes on average hundreds of people's experiences before it needs to be taken and changed. I mean, they like influence or effect on people? Well, I guess it depends how many people walk into the room and are benefited by the existence of the light bulb. Let's see. I finished a task, and now I'm in that absent-minded state of not knowing what to do next. I guess I can make the help menu do things. I like to reuse this function in my other class, but I cannot without. I guess I could just copy and paste it. Oh wait, that doesn't give me the text function. Can we get a cheat code added to the game? If the user types beloved, they should get super mining power for a bit. Yeah, that's maybe an option. Maybe I'll add, I don't know, add an Easter egg in the menu or something. Greed is good. Are there any of those, some of those Age of Empires cheat codes? I forget all the, I know you could do one that would give you a car. W3C, WC3 Marchman? I don't recognize that. Is that one of the cheat codes? Warcraft 3. Never played that game. You know what I think I'll do? Let's do some refactoring. Does that break everything? Actually, this is probably slower building than, because that would be building locally. Huh, interesting. The color black is blacker on this because I'm using the actual INC escape sequence for it now, so it looks darker. Can I know your plan? The plan is to get a whole bunch of money, and then we're going to take over the world, and then we'll fix all the problems in the world, so we get no more problems. Yeah, that's basically it. And then create a cryptocurrency. Now there's already people doing that. There's too many people doing that. There are more than 8 billion people and 64 trillion problem. How can you fix that with money? How can you just fix that with money? Well, it's all about resources. You gotta just get a bunch of resources and then plan some stuff. It's just like in playing like Age of Empires. You just gotta make sure that you balance all your. You gotta get enough people chopping wood down, and you gotta get enough people mining, and also eliminating waste and fraud. from 64 trillion to 32 trillion. That's already a win. Yep. This uses this, so that might be an issue. If you solve too many problems, we peasants will get bored. That will spawn the next level of problems. Yeah, but if I'm... That's why I have to dominate the world. So I can rule like an authoritarian. I can just prevent people from causing... I just find all the people that cause problems and then prevent them from causing problems. So this function calls this a few times. So that will be a problem. But technically I don't need to move that one in. That's just for the map area. But this one could be a problem. Get frame offset hack. Where is that defined? this will probably break a bunch of stuff. This is where the IDE will come in handy. I want to go into console. Have you ever thought about making your own programming language? Yes. I was writing I've thought about like writing a compiler for, but I already did work on a compiler for a C programming for ISO C89, and that experience, my idea was to, I had these like made up toy assembly languages and stuff, and I thought basically I tried to make something like WASM, like WebAssembly, before it existed, and I thought like, why don't you just, what if we compile stuff to like some intermediary language? Then I started working on that, and started working on like a custom compiler that would start off by compiling C. My goal was to get it able to compile ISO C89, and I was able to do quite a bit of it, but I was able to make it support a substantial subset of C, but eventually I got to the point where I was like, why, what am I doing here? And then I realized in implementing that compiler, I learned enough about like flaws in the C programming language and also the preprocessor that I decided like it is outside the scope of what I have the resources for. Like if I had like millions of dollars, maybe I would. Is ISO C89 faster than C? Well, it is C. It's like the simplest subset of C. So I would say like if you're gonna, it's like step one. Like if you have a C compiler, the first thing it should be able to compile is C89. That's like the simplest ask. And then once you can do that, then you can add C99 and then C++ and all kinds of other stuff. But there's quite a bit to the language, and the other thing is it's not just about parsing the syntax, it's also about like optimizing the compiler, which is like an open-ended problem. So even if you just restrict the language that it compiles to C89, there's like an infinite amount of work you could do in optimization. And for like a toy, for about what was effectively just a hobby project, the question is like, what am I doing? Why am I spending all this time on this? And there's no monetary feedback on it. I think it could be economically useful to society, but you'd need like massive amounts of money to fund it. But also, like, I think it's kind of too late. The time to have come out with something like that would have been like, 2001. Let me see. Oh yeah. Let's fix all of our errors. Problems. I think that'll be never be null anyway, so let's do this. Have you done motion control programming? I have never done anything similar to that. Why is it complaining about all these now? Oh, it's still complaining. Oh, that's from ages ago. Why is it got those errors? This thing is it's not seeing my latest code. Let's see. I guess what I will have to do . I just fixed that. That's out of date. Back to the terminal it is. $4.15. Did I copy this in? What class is that? Oh. I've played Age of Empires since release. They released like a new version of or something. They released a new version on Steam, didn't they? Or Steam or whatever platform you get it from now. Nice AoE humor on your new Society video filmed outside last week. Made me spit out my drink. That's good. 4 is amazing. Age of Empires 4. Oh, I think I might have played 4. Age of Empires 3 is the one that's burned into my memory, but I think I did learn. I did play 4 a bit, but I've forgotten about it. I haven't done that in a few years. 363. Yeah, I remember there was in the old one, like the original Age of Empires 3. I remember playing. There was a certain campaign where I would always try to play it, and then it would crash the computer. And I kept, it was this hour-long campaign or scenario that I'd play, and I could never get past it. It always froze. But I guess they probably fixed all that in the newest version. And apparently the AI is also way harder. Still rather janky. Yeah, it's amazing how a game can be so good. People still go back and play old games even though we have a million new ones. I'm starting to forget what I'm doing. Was that an overloaded thing? Oh yeah. Current frame dimensions, 356. Current terminal frame dimensions. 19. Let's see, this, I already fixed this, I thought. Oh yeah, that was because FD. Is that the right class? User interface. Hi Robert, came to see your stream yesterday, but you were just about to end. I wanted to ask, what is your favorite fruit? I really like raspberries. Raspberries are pretty awesome. Actually, I just bought some today. Raspberries are good. I like the white ones. Wait, whoa. Oh, it crashed. Oh, wow, I haven't seen that before. White raspberries. I can't think of what that would be other than like the rotten ones. Has anyone tried to stop you? I mean, I'm assuming YouTube is okay with this. They'll have to be. Once I take over the world, then they won't have a choice in the matter. Do you have a programming language you wished you liked but found it not useful enough or too hard to use? There's a lot of languages that I just don't know. I guess I consider well, it's like crazy extractories. That's a lie right there. Oh, you know what? I might have like a circular dependency that I added. That was one thing I was afraid of. I consider every programming language it is its own special use case. And I guess if I need to learn it, then that kind of means that it does have some kind of use case. I use raspberry powder to flavor my homemade yogurt. You can also buy the yogurt with raspberries directly in it. It'll save you some time. But it's probably more expensive. Now I think what might have just happened there is when I send console print message. It might be deadlocking if I can't remember how everything works, but What is your favorite bit? Is it 0 or 1? 0 is pretty good, but 1 is also pretty useful too. So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. I'm tempted to say 1, but then 0 is just always also so useful. Let's do that again. And then we'll actually check the stack trace in the log. Why are you asking the guy who's a favorite Linux command every other day? At least I'm consistent. Okay, there's our stack trace. There's no stack traces. Ones cause crashes when they break free into the wild memory territory. That's also true of zeros. Also, ones are more likely to say they're going to be at an address at a specific time and never show up. Is that true? Why is that the case? Let me think. Let me see if I can read that again. 152, 152. I must have, yeah, maybe I just have some recursion. User interface frame. I've like accidentally called a function, made a function call itself or something. Oh yeah, that's when it happened. Silly me. Let's just try that. Figure it out later. I think I have some duplication in there somewhere. All right, I guess that worked. So now we got a help menu. Or not quite, but have you ever used Solaris or Illumos? Years ago, when I first came to university, they had a computer lab with Solaris computers on it, and then after that, I never saw a Solaris computer again. Illumos, no, never seen that. Is there a handshake or safe word to use when to be spared when during global domination? Actually, you've already got it. You've got the channel membership icon. So if I see that, I know that you're one of us. Now, if I can just figure out which function I need to use to print text to the terminal again. That'll take a bit of time too. get that set up. Yeah, so tonight I successfully made the changes necessary to get the beginnings of a help menu. So that there, square, that's going to be the menu. So I just press escape, and now I got a menu. So I just need to actually print the menu options. Elomos is a kernel fork from OpenSolaris and is still being developed today, like the OS. Open Indiana is powered by Elomos. Interesting. Yeah, it's actually kind of amazing how I've taken a more lazy approach. Like, as much as I promote Linux and open source and stuff, I just use the basic laziest. Like, I just use Ubuntu unless I have a reason to use something else like Kali Linux or Fedora if it has something on it already that I want. It almost seems like there's so much work. Like, is anyone still working on GNU Herd? I'm sure there probably are people still developing that. But in a way, it seems pointless. But it also is like, in a small way, it's kind of amazing that people are still developing that stuff, because it means, like, if we will always have some safe operating system. I use the most basic Linux distros, basic GNOME. Don't even custom. Yeah, I customize it like once, and then I find it's just a lot of work. Unix Linux world is crazy. We try one distro every day of the year. Been using Linux 7+ years. Most boring stuff works best. Yeah. We got GIMP 3 before GNU Herd. Well, I think I'll probably leave it there for tonight. I made a little bit of progress. So I'll probably be back on tomorrow. So see you next time, guys.